Think your Hilux is untouchable? Think Ford owns the global pickup game? China just dropped 5 hybrid and electric pickups into markets across Latin America, Australia, Thailand, and the Middle East with power, range, and tech that make traditional diesels look ancient. We're talking 750 Nm torque, 1,000 km range, battery swapping, and prices that'll make your truck payment feel like a bad decision. This is our top 5 countdown of Chinese pickups quietly taking over while Western brands were sleeping. And number 1 is the truck nobody saw coming. Hit subscribe because this global ambush is already underway. The first truck rewrites what a work ute can do in a city. Number 5. SAIC Maxus T90EV. While everyone was arguing about Cybertruck release dates and F-150 Lightning availability, the first all-electric pickup actually doing real work in Europe was a Chinese Maxus that most people never heard of. The T90EV quietly became the UK and Ireland's first electric pickup on job sites, beating Ford, Toyota, and Tesla to actual fleet duty by simply showing up and working. This thing launched around 2022 in right-hand drive European markets and went straight after trades, utilities, and municipal fleets. It packs an 88.5 kilowatt-hour battery, delivering around 220 miles of WLTP range with a payload close to 1,000 kilograms. That slots it directly into the space diesel 1-tons used to dominate, except now it runs with zero tailpipe emissions and costs a fraction to operate per mile. The T90EV looks like any other double cab pickup. High bonnet, large grille area, pronounced wheel arches, conventional proportions. The EV version adds subtle blue highlights and badging, but it still reads as a normal work truck. That's the genius here. Fleets wanted something their crews could drive without retraining or explaining. The T90EV delivers exactly that. It blends into the car park next to Rangers and Hiluxes, except it's plugged in overnight and running silent all day. Inside, you get a 10.25-inch central touchscreen with Bluetooth and smartphone mirroring, plus a basic digital instrument cluster. Physical buttons handle climate control because this truck is designed for people wearing work gloves. Materials are hard-wearing plastics and cloth seats in most specs, with some leather options in higher trims. The focus here is durability and ease of use. 5 adults fit comfortably, with decent legroom front and rear, and a flat floor in the back, making it practical for work crews moving between sites. Range sits around 220 miles on the WLTP cycle. Real-world testing suggests closer to 180 miles on motorways, more in city driving. For fleets running predictable daily routes with depot charging overnight, this works perfectly. DC fast charging is supported up to 80 kilowatts, taking the battery from 20 to 80% in roughly 45 minutes. AC charging via Type 2 covers home or depot use. The payload is around 1,000 kilograms, and the bed is a standard open tray that can be racked and fitted out like any other 1-ton pickup. UK pricing at launch sat around £50,000 before grants, but business users accessed EV incentives and dramatically lower running costs. For fleets that previously bought diesel Rangers, Hiluxes, or L200s, the T90EV offered lower total cost of ownership due to energy and maintenance savings, zero-emission zone compliance, and decent spec for drivers spending all day in the cab. The jealousy angle here is simple. The first electric pickup on British building sites came from China, and it arrived years before the big Western brands delivered anything similar. Safety kit includes ESC, multiple airbags, and AEB in many trims. Formal Euro NCAP splash coverage is limited compared to passenger EVS, but the truck delivers standard safety hardware expected in commercial vehicles. Reliability feedback from fleet managers focuses on predictable range, simple operation, and robust hardware. There are no widespread scandal stories, just quiet adoption by organizations that care more about spreadsheets than social media hype. This is the boring hero. The T90EV replaced diesel pickups in fleets across the UK and Ireland, while YouTube was still debating render images of trucks that might launch someday. Municipal crews, utilities, telecoms, and contractors all adopted it because the numbers worked. Predictable daily mileage, overnight charging, instant torque, and lower maintenance made it a rational choice. Western buyers spent years hearing that electric pickups were coming soon, while Chinese Maxus pickups were already clocking up miles on European roads, doing the hard, unglamorous work that actually matters. If your local utility switched to Chinese EV pickups to save taxpayer money, would you even notice? The T90EV proves the answer is probably no, and that's exactly why it's dangerous to legacy brands. Electric for fleets is smart, but hybrid torque changes the game entirely. Number 4. Geely Radar RD6. In the country where Toyota Hilux is practically religion, the first pure electric pickup you can actually buy right now is a Geely offshoot with a brand new name that nobody outside Asia had heard of 2 years ago. Welcome to the Radar RD6, rebranded as Radara for the Thai market, and it's proof that Geely is using Thailand as a giant test lab before rolling this thing out globally. Geely launched Radar as a dedicated EV pickup brand, and in 2024 they set up their first overseas subsidiary in Thailand. In October and November 2024, the RD6 launched there as Radar RD6, marketed as Thailand's first 100% electric pickup. Thailand is a global pickup superpower. Hilux and Isuzu D-Max are national icons. Choosing Thailand as the first overseas market for an EV pickup is either brilliant or insane, and Geely is betting on brilliant. The RD6 looks different from traditional Thai farm trucks. This thing has smooth, crossover-like lines with a closed-off fascia, slim LED headlights, and a full-width light bar on some trims. There's no big grille. The styling is closer to a Rivian R1T or Hyundai Santa Cruz concept than a workhorse Hilux. The side profile flows with a relatively low belt line, subtle flared arches, and integrated side steps. Wheels and Thai launch imagery run 18 to 20 inches with aero-style designs. The rear tailgate is clean with wide, continuous tail lamp elements, emphasizing width and modernity. Radar emphasizes premium design and SUV-level comfort, deliberately distancing the RD6 from farm truck aesthetics. Step inside and the cabin feels more like an electric SUV with a bed than a traditional Thai pickup. There's a large central touchscreen, 12.3 to 14 inches depending on trim, handling infotainment, navigation, and EV settings. The digital instrument cluster offers customizable layouts showing range, battery status, and motor info. 5-seat double cab configuration provides supportive front seats and a wide rear bench. The EV skateboard layout allows better legroom and a flat floor compared to ladder frame rivals. Materials are soft-touch dash surfaces, modern design elements, and more refined finishes than typical Thai work pickups. Tech highlights include V2L power export up to 6 kilowatts offboard, turning the truck into a mobile power bank. In Thailand, that means powering camping gear, street food vendor stalls, and events. Connectivity and app integration follow Geely's usual playbook with over-the-air updates, voice assistant, and smartphone app control. The RD6 is pitched as a connected, evolving vehicle rather than a static tool. Thai launch pricing starts at 89,900 baht, roughly 25,000 to 26,000 US dollars for the base RD6, rising with bigger batteries and Husile and higher trims. That competes directly with mid-spec diesel Hilux and D-Max in Thailand, but with EV performance, long range, V2L capability, and a modern cabin. You can buy a full EV pickup for less than a well-equipped diesel in Thailand, while Western markets still can't get anything similar at that price. Geely Press highlights target family lifestyle, urban commuting, weekend trips, and small business owners rather than heavy construction. The double cab layout makes it a natural fit for Thai families who traditionally buy Hilux or D-Max as do-everything vehicles. The bed handles bikes, surfboards, camping gear, and light cargo. V2L turns it into a mobile stall power source in a country full of mobile vendors. The RD6 is stealing young, aspirational buyers who want tech and comfort in a pickup format rather than trying to replace the hardest working trucks first. Thailand wants to be an EV hub, and Radar's presence aligns perfectly with Thai government incentives. This gives Geely a strategic foothold for Chinese EV pickup exports across ASEAN and eventually into the Middle East, Africa, and maybe even Europe. Formal Euro NCAP or ANCAP ratings are still pending, but Geely has a solid safety reputation through brands like Volvo and Polestar. The RD6 represents cultural subversion in real time. The first EV pickup in the world's most pickup-obsessed market is Chinese. It turns the pickup from a work mule into a lifestyle EV toy, and it's testing the formula for global expansion in the one market where pickups matter most. If Thailand is getting a $25,000 full EV pickup, why are Western buyers still being told EV trucks must cost $70,000 or more? Lifestyle electric is one thing, but hybrid torque rewrites the rulebook. Number 3. GWM Poer Shanhai Cannon Hi4-T. Great Wall Motor has been exporting pickups for decades, but the Shanhai Cannon Hi4-T is where things get serious. This is a mid-size truck with plug-in hybrid torque numbers that rival performance SUVs, 750 Nm of twist, and the ability to run 115 kilometers on pure electricity before waking up a petrol engine that extends total range past 1,000 kilometers. It's being pushed into Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, South Africa, and other markets where utes are religion, and it's doing it for less money than the diesel trucks it's designed to replace. The Hi4-T system debuted in the Tank 500 PHEV and now powers the Shanhai Cannon, also sold as Cannon Alpha PHEV or Poer Sahar depending on market. The powertrain combines a 2.0-liter turbo petrol engine with a large battery and strong electric motors to produce around 300 kilowatts, roughly 408 horsepower, and 750 Nm of torque. With around 115 kilometers of electric-only range and up to 1,200 kilometers of combined range thanks to twin fuel tanks holding about 131 liters total, this thing is designed for long-distance off-road touring where diesels used to dominate. Size-wise, the Shanhai Cannon is a mid-size body-on-frame pickup positioned above the regular GWM Poer. Wheelbase runs 3,350 mm, length around 5,462 mm, width close to 1,992 mm, and height roughly 1,960 mm. That puts it very close to a full-spec Ranger or Hilux, slightly bulkier in presence. The front end is huge and upright with thick horizontal grille bars or mesh depending on trim, designed to look premium tough rather than cheap workhorse. LED headlights integrate DRLS, and higher trims feature signature light graphics similar to the Tank 500. The side profile shows tall shoulders, squared-off arches, large 18 to 20-inch alloys with all-terrain tires, and subtle chrome strips with side steps. The overall look overlaps with Americanized dual cabs like Ram 1500, but scaled slightly down. The rear uses a conventional tailgate, wide tail lamps, and integrated step bumpers. Some markets offer sports bars and roll bars as accessories. Off-road credentials are serious. High ride height, underbody protection, front and rear diff locks, and 900 mm of wading depth quoted for Hi4-T spec. That's Land Cruiser level water capability. The chassis is a body-on-frame DMO super hybrid off-road platform with a longitudinal engine and electric motors integrated into an EHS hybrid system forming electric all-wheel drive. Inside, the cabin design is strongly influenced by GWM's tank SUVs. Horizontal layout. Large central screen, typically 12 to 14 inches depending on market, digital driver display, and chunky toggle switches. Screens handle navigation, smartphone mirroring, 360-degree cameras, off-road mode displays, energy flow graphics for the PHEV system, and surround view parking. Higher trims push soft-touch surfaces, leather seats, contrast stitching, and metallic trims, targeting Ranger Wildtrak and Hilux SR5 buyers rather than fleet-based users. 5-seat double cab configuration includes heated and ventilated front seats in high trims, multi-way power adjustment, and dual-zone climate. Cabin noise is dramatically reduced by running in EV mode at low speeds. Reviewers of the Tank 500 PHEV note Lexus-like silence in hybrid EV driving. Pricing in China shows the Shanhai Poer Hi4-T Global Edition at 228,800 yuan and Performance Edition at 249,800 yuan, around 31,000 to 34,000 US dollars. That undercuts or matches many diesel Hilux and Ranger trims in markets like South Africa and Australia while adding a PHEV drivetrain, higher torque, modern cabin, and ADAS. Once landed and taxed in export markets, pricing still tends to be competitive with local diesel rivals while offering significantly more tech. Standard 5-seat crew cab offers generous front and rear legroom, with dimensions similar to other global 1-tons. Typical 1-ton payload class supports serious load carrying plus lifestyle use. EV-only range of 110 to 115 kilometers covers urban commutes, short-haul site work, and everyday errands. Combined range up to 1,000 to 1,200 kilometers is huge for remote touring across Australian deserts, African bush, or Latin American backcountry. Proper four-wheel drive includes Borg-Warner transfer case, low range, diff locks, and drive modes. The 900mm wading depth is a major bragging right, deeper than most mainstream pickups and in Land Cruiser territory. GWM's Tank 500 PHEV, which shares the Hi4-T system, earned a 5-star ANCAP rating, giving confidence in safety engineering. Like other Chinese connected vehicles, regulators could raise data and security concerns if these become common in Western fleets, but the hardware and software are proven. For the price of a mid-spec diesel ute, you get a PHEV with 750 Nm and 1,000 km range. This is the truck that turns GWM from a punchline into a serious contender, and it's already rolling into some of the toughest truck markets on Earth. Hybrid torque is impressive, but imagine swapping your battery in 2 minutes. Number 2, JAC T9. You've probably never heard of JAC, but by 2024, their pickup line hit 300,000 units, produced and exports to over 130 countries. The JAC T9, also marketed as Hunter or Friesen T9 depending on region, is the global flagship sold across Latin America, the Middle East, Central Asia, Africa, Europe, and Australia. In Australia, a dual-cab T9 earned a 5-star ANCAP rating in 2024 and was promoted as Australia's safest ute and even 4th safest vehicle overall by weighted score. In markets like Mexico, the T9 has reportedly outsold Tacoma and Ranger in certain months within the Chinese brand segment, making it a serious competitor that flies completely under the radar. Size-wise, the T9 is a mid-size dual-cab ute. In Australia, the T9 Haven 4x4 measures similar to a Ranger or Hilux in length and width. Styling features a bold grille with thick chrome bars and C-shaped LED DRLs framing the headlights. Strong shoulder lines, squared-off arches, and 18-inch alloys give it a contemporary 1-ton pickup stance. The rear uses a simple tailgate with stamped JAC branding, vertical tail lights at the corners, and an integrated bumper step. Different faces and trim packs appear by region, including off-road packs and chrome-heavy luxury variants. Visually, it blends into the global pickup crowd, which is exactly why it can sneak into markets without triggering the usual Chinese brand skepticism. Inside, the cabin features a horizontal dash with a large central touchscreen and digital instrument cluster. Screens run 10.4 to 12.3 inches depending on market, with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto in some specs. Digital driver display offers configurable layouts. High trims in Australia feature leather-appointed seats, soft-touch dash panels, and contrast stitching pitched directly against top-spec Japanese dual cabs. Dual-zone climate, power driver's seat, heated seats in some trims, and decent rear legroom for adults round out the comfort package. Safety tech includes AEB with car, pedestrian, and cyclist detection, lane support, blind spot monitoring, rear cross-traffic alert, adaptive cruise, and speed assist. The powertrain uses a 2.0-liter turbo diesel engine producing around 125 to 140 kilowatts and 380 to 430 newton meters depending on market, paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Some markets also offer a 2.0-liter turbo petrol and early EV or PHEV derivatives. Drivetrain is part-time four-wheel drive with 2H, 4H, and 4L modes, rear diff lock, and multiple terrain modes. Chassis uses ladder frame ute architecture with independent front suspension and leaf spring rear, tuned progressively for comfort in export markets. Performance is adequate rather than headline grabbing. The real story here is safety and global reach. 5-seat dual cab configuration provides enough space for family duty, and Australian dealers market it heavily as a family plus work dual purposer. Typical 1-ton payload class handles the tray size to carry pallets with the right liner and tie-downs. Towing capacity reaches up to 3.5 tons braked in Australian spec, matching the benchmark set by Ranger and Hilux. Dealers actively promote worksite during the week, campsite on weekends. Messaging. In Australia, the T9 has been aggressively priced with some 2,025 deals showing it under 40,000 Australian dollars drive away for certain trims, undercutting most equivalent Japanese dual cabs while offering more features. Combined with 5-star ANCAP and long warranties, it becomes an easy rational purchase for buyers who care more about spec sheet and safety than badge prestige. In Latin America, JAC capitalizes on value versus Tacoma, Ranger, and Hilux, often with lower sticker prices and generous equipment. ANCAP awarded a 5-star rating in 2024 under the latest, tougher protocol, with scores like 85% adult, 87% child, 87% vulnerable road users, and 89% safety assist. Marketing calls it Australia's safest ute and 4th safest vehicle overall by weighted score across all categories. Some independent reviewers caution that marketing overstates the safest ute claim and point out a few compromises, but the core 5-star result is genuine and verifiable. Reliability data is still emerging. JAC's long history in commercial vehicles suggests reasonable robustness, but brand perception lag remains. The T9 undercuts big-name rivals on price and beats many on safety, forcing buyers to confront how much they're paying for a logo. While everyone argues about tariffs and politics, the T9 just shows up in more and more markets, racking up sales and ANCAP stars without the hype or controversy. Would you trade your Hilux or Ranger for a Chinese ute if it was officially the safest in the country? The JAC T9 is betting you might once you see the spec sheet and the price tag. Safety is great, but the number one truck changes the entire refueling model. Number 1. BYD Shark. BYD's first pickup truck launched in Mexico in May 2024, making it BYD's first global debut outside China. That launch choice is a statement. They skipped the home market and went straight into Hilux and Ranger heartland across Latin America, the Middle East, Africa, and Pakistan. The Shark is positioned as a plug-in hybrid alternative to conventional 2.8-liter diesel 1-tons, except it delivers power and acceleration more like a performance SUV than a work truck. The Shark combines a 1.5-liter turbo petrol engine with dual electric motors, producing 321 kilowatts, roughly 430 horsepower, and around 650 newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 km per hour happens in about 5.7 seconds. That's sports SUV quick in a body-on-frame pickup truck. BYD's DMO body-on-frame hybrid platform gives roughly 100 kilometers of EV-only range and around 840 kilometers of total range on NEDC. Markets like UAE and Pakistan quote 520 to 800 kilometers combined WLTP and NEDC depending on local testing. This lets the Shark behave like an EV in daily use with zero range anxiety for long trips, perfect for regions where fast chargers are patchy or non-existent. BYD is already marketing Shark in Mexico, Middle East including UAE, Africa including Kenya, Pakistan, and other emerging markets, signaling a deliberate global strategy rather than a domestic experiment. Early Mexico pricing and UAE and Pakistan positioning put Shark in upper-mid pickup territory, but with more power and more tech than similarly priced Hilux and Ranger trims. Size-wise, the Shark is a mid-size or 1-ton pickup with a similar footprint to global Ranger and Hilux. Length runs around 5,457 millimeters, width roughly 1,971 millimeters, height about 1,925 millimeters, and wheelbase 3,260 millimeters. Styling was led by ex-Audi designer Wolfgang Egger on the exterior, giving it a modern, squared-off global look. The front end is tall and blocky, with an open grille area and strong horizontal elements. LED headlights and DRLS integrate into a bold light signature. Markets show various grille patterns, all with a muscular EV-inspired feel. The profile uses classic double cab proportions with a chunky belt line, blacked-out wheel arch cladding, and side steps for the off-road vibe. The stance reads similar to a Ranger Wildtrak or Hilux GR Sport, high and planted. The rear uses a conventional tailgate with integrated handle and step, and full-width tail lamp design in some markets. The bed is sized to compete with mainstream 1-ton, with images showing a fully lined tub and tie-down points tailored for lifestyle and light commercial use. Chassis capability cues include body-on-frame, on-frame construction on BYD's DMO Super Hybrid frame, designed for off-road and towing. Ground clearance and approach and departure angles are aimed squarely at rough road regions like Pakistan and Latin America. This truck looks like it belongs in the same car park as Rangers and Hiluxes until you find out it's packing EV brains and 430 horsepower. Inside, public English language material is still limited, but across markets including Mexico, UAE, Pakistan, and Kenya, the cabin themes are consistent. Layout features a large central touchscreen, typically 12.8 to 15.6 inches in portrait or landscape, with a digital instrument cluster. Marketing shots show a tablet-style screen dominating the center stack. BYD's own infotainment OS includes OTA updates and connectivity features. Other BYD models support Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and reviewers expect similar capability here. Materials mix soft-touch surfaces, contrasting stitching, and metallic accents, pitched as a premium lifestyle interior rather than a bare-bones work cabin. Multi-function steering wheel, chunky shifter, and a modern, almost SUV-like dash layout complete the package. 5-seat double cab provides supportive front seats and a full 3-person bench in the rear. Marketing emphasizes family and recreational use, including road trips, camping, and towing boats as much as work. Tech highlights include BYD Blade battery and DMO platform, allowing fine-grained energy management and V2L output up to 6.6 kilowatts in some specs, so the truck can power tools, campsites, or emergency gear. Driver assistance suites likely include adaptive cruise, AEB, lane assist, and 360-degree cameras, consistent with BYD's global offerings. Exact combinations differ by market, but Shark is pitched as tech-rich. Double cab layout gives 5-seat family usability, and BYD's photos consistently show Shark doing duty as a lifestyle and holiday tow rig. Official sites quote 2,500 kilograms, braked towing capacity, enough for medium boats, caravans, or work trailer. Range includes roughly 100 kilometers of electric-only driving on NEDC, enough for many owners' daily commute or city use without burning fuel. Total range hits around 840 kilometers on NEDC with a full tank and charge. UAE spec quotes up to 520 kilometers WLTP combined, while Pakistan marketing touts up to 800 kilometers combined, using more optimistic test cycles. Fuel and energy efficiency sits around 7.0 to 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers in hybrid mode, very competitive for a truck this size and power. The platform is BYD's DMO Super Hybrid off-road platform, a body-on-frame layout with a longitudinal engine and electric motors integrated into an EHS hybrid system. The 1.5-liter turbo petrol ICE mounts longitudinally. 2 permanent magnet motors, front and rear, form an electric AWD system. Combined power hits roughly 320 to 321 kilowatts, around 430 horsepower. Maximum torque reaches approximately 650 newton meters. Battery uses a roughly 29.6 kilowatt-hour BYD Blade LFP pack. EV range sits around 100 kilometers on NEDC. Combined range reaches roughly 840 kilometers NEDC, or around 520 kilometers WLTP quoted in some export markets. 0 to 100 km per hour happens in about 5.7 seconds, quicker than many German performance SUVs and far ahead of typical diesel 1-tons. Top speed runs around 159 kilometers per hour. Charging includes DC fast charging up to 55 kilowatts, 7 kilowatts AC, and 6.6 kilowatts V2L output. You can frame this as Raptor-ish horsepower with Prius-style hybrid efficiency and EV commuting baked in. Mexico and Latin America pricing reports place Shark in the equivalent of mid-$50,000 US range once converted, depending on trim and local taxes, though exact figures vary by source and market. In markets like UAE and Pakistan, It's positioned as a premium lifestyle pickup, but still often below or similar to high-spec Hilux and Ranger, while offering far more power, EV capability, and modern cabin tech. Given 430 horsepower, PHEV tech, V2L, and lavish equipment, the value story is strong. Detailed NCAP ratings for Shark are not public yet, but BYD's recent passenger EVs, including Atto 3 and Seal, have scored 5 stars in Euro NCAP and ANCAP, suggesting a strong safety engineering baseline. BYD markets Shark with references to multiple airbags, advanced ADAS including AEB, lane keeping and adaptive cruise, 360-degree cameras, and parking aids, placing it on par with global mainstream pickups. Potential Western concerns include data sovereignty, sovereignty questions regulators have raised about Chinese EVs in general. BYD's trucks carry cameras, connectivity, and OTA capability. US tariffs and political scrutiny make an official US launch unlikely in the short term, creating a forbidden fruit aura. You're paying similar or more for an old-school diesel with cloth seats, while Shark gives you EV-grade tech and 430 horsepower. People paying big money for a Hilux or Ranger get less power, older interiors, and no EV mode. This is a body-on-frame plug-in hybrid with EV range, V2L, and a high-end cabin for what feels like mid-range pickup pricing. BYD skipped home, and the US going straight after the world's big ute markets to build brand equity while America debates tariffs. If this exact truck were sold in your country at Hilux money, would you still buy the diesel? The BYD Shark is the global ambush nobody saw coming, and it's already on the road in some of the world's toughest truck markets. So there you have it, 5 Chinese pickups quietly taking over Latin America, Australia, Thailand, the Middle East, and Africa, while Western brands were still arguing about which electric truck to build next. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep dives on Chinese automotive domination, and drop a comment telling us which one you'd actually buy if it showed up in your market tomorrow.